Guys, they did it. They finally did it. Integrated flight test number 4 launched just a couple days ago, and they did it. Successful splashdown of the booster, successful splashdown of the ship. This is a dream come true for not only me, but for so many SpaceX nerds, so many SpaceX supporters, people who have been here kind of watching, listening since day one from the Starship program, and even before that, and now to finally be able to see a successful splashdown of not only the booster, but also the Starship. I believe it was Booster 11, Starship 29, integrated flight test for that's the saying we've been calling it by. And excuse me if I mistakenly say a few things. I don't know all the technical terms of everything, but I have been following along, semi loosely and then semi, kind of intensely over the past few years. And I never would have thought that today, finally, we're able to get to a point where I can successfully say the ship didn't explode. And this is for an integrated test. I know with the actual Starship, we did some belly flop tests a few years ago, and we got to a point where, we had a few of them that didn't explode, that could land. I'm talking about the integrated tests. We did a soft landing for both vehicles. Well, it's one vehicle, but both parts, the booster and the ship. The booster soft landed off the Gulf of Texas, off the coast of Texas, in the Gulf of Mexico, not too far away. Soft landed there. We actually just got some video of that. Elon just posted that just a little bit ago. And then the ship, it soft landed in the Indian Ocean. And let me tell you what, it was a hell of a show. I was actually down in Texas while this happened. I was down in Boca Chica in the area. I'd been taking pictures all week long. I'd been taking videos. I'd been hyped about it. I was like, finally, this is going to happen. This is so exciting. I can't wait. It was windy all week long, and it looked like it was going to be, not as windy on the day. I'm like, okay, great. We're going to have great conditions. It's not going to be windy. I'm going to have great footage. The day came, the morning came, we got up early, got to a spot about 5 miles away, and it was really, really foggy and cloudy. So I wasn't able to get a really good footage of it. I got some audio of it, which was great, but the actual footage itself, I have none of it. So all the footage of Starship launching, you will see, will be all courtesy of SpaceX. Nothing of that would be mine. This isn't my first time down in Starbase, Texas. I've been there twice already. Once I made it down for SN5, which was just a booster test, and it wasn't even a full booster. It was like about half the size of a booster, maybe a little bit more than half the size, and it had a simulated weight on the top, and it had like one rocket engine or something. It was almost nothing. It was just a hop. I think it was like a 150-meter hop. I actually have that on my channel as well. And I remember seeing that, and I was blown away by that. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. This is awesome. I can't wait. And then I think I came down again, I think right after SN8. So we missed that by a few days, but we were able to kind of take a look around during that time. And, I was just amazed by the amount that Starbase had grown even in that short time. It was only a few months between each other, and Starbase had already grown almost exponentially, and now I'm there, and it's like its own little city. I mean, it is getting massive. I know I released a video earlier this week talking about the whole trip, and I made like a quick kind of overview, but I just wanted to do another video where I talk about it a little bit more. I know in previous iterations, the Starship integrated test ends up blowing up. Finally, this one, as I said before, is one that does not blow up. They ended up actually upgrading certain parts of the booster, including vent caps, just like around the grid fins. There were some upgrades that happened. There were some upgrades around just different structural elements that helped really reinforce that booster, and thankfully it worked. They also added additional thrusters, attitude control thrusters, to the booster. So they reinforced the thrusters that were there originally, but they also added redundant ones. So in case some of the thrusters did fail, they wouldn't lose attitude, and they could just kick on the redundant ones and be A-okay. With the Starship itself, I know they had put some extra heat tiles in some areas that were expected to have higher wear and tear. And actually, it turns out Elon Musk just had an interview with Tim Dodd the day before, or like the night before, really. The test was supposed to happen, And in that interview, it looks like he mentioned actually some concern over the wing flaps, and where the wing flap and the Starship kind of come together. There's like some sort of a seal somewhere along there that he was a little bit concerned about. And it turns out he was right. As many of you guys may have seen, during the actual Starship test, there was some major damage done to at least one of the flaps. And I mean, we can only assume it was probably done to most of the flaps, if not all the flaps. But the camera that we were looking at, you could see some major damage happening to that flap, to the point where there were chunks of that flap coming off. It wasn't just a little bit of damage where there's a hole or two here. No, there was like a pizza-sized hole, or even larger. It's probably bigger than that. There was a massive hole that kind of got ripped into this flap. But that flap, that trooper of a flap, kept going, and it kept working till the very end. And it was a roller coaster of emotions watching that Starship. You went from the very beginning, you went from utter awe that it's, even happening and it's clearing the tower. Then, you see the booster come down, and, utter awe that the booster survived. This is already a success, even if the Starship blows up. And the Starship coasting through space, it's looking absolutely great. Like these are just views we've never even seen before. And then the booster re-entering, oh my gosh, those are some of the most beautiful visuals I've ever seen, even on some of the, in the history of all rocket launches. These are one of the most beautiful, because there's never been a ship quite like this. We have the space shuttle, which had a similar concept with, using its body to kind of re-enter the atmosphere, but the space shuttle didn't have the same attitude controls and the same surface controls as the Starship does. Not to mention, the size of the Starship is just massive. So you saw the Starship re-entering the atmosphere, and you just saw this beautiful glow and this beautiful flow of heat over the heat shield tiles, and you just saw it. It looks so stable. It looks so graceful. You could tell it was a little violent, because that's what it is in nature. Re-entering the atmosphere at that high of a speed, it is violent. But I think they said for 17 minutes it re-entered the atmosphere, and I've never seen anything like that. There are some great videos of it. There's some great pictures of it. And then near the end of that, those flaps were really starting to take some damage. But somehow, I'm pretty sure all of them survived, and they still sticked, and they were able to stick the landing. I'm at a loss for where I don't know what to say. It's just absolutely amazing where we're at. And I'm an individual that doesn't even know that much. Like, I'm not a very smart individual. I don't have all the technical terms and everything down. But it just excites me so much. Whether or not the programs for Starship even is successful in the long run, which it's looking like it will be. But for some reason, whether or not it is successful, this is historic. This is hopefully not a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Because I went down there and I listened to the sounds of that rocket taking off, and it was out of this world. Not unlike anything I ever had. That was my first actual rocket launch I've been to. I didn't see it, but I was there. And I was pretty much as close as one of the closest places you could be physically there while being a member of the general public. It's things like this that just gives me so much passion, so much excitement about the future. And it's because growing up, I always hoped, and I always wanted to be, kind of alive during the space race, to be able to see what the people saw, listen to the announcements over the radio, read the newspaper and see, astronauts land on the moon, and I also wanted to see it on the TV. Those are the kind of things I dreamed of seeing as a child. And I knew I was born too late for that, and kind of all of the general hype was kind of over that, which, that's just kind of, I was born later, that's fine. But it's really encouraging and exciting to see that we have people and we have companies that are out there trying to keep pushing the frontier of space, trying to push to Mars, trying to push back to the moon, trying to do all these things that we've never been done before. We're not stopping. And that is what is giving me hope. And it's just exciting to see, whether or not, you really care that much about actually exploring Mars, or, you know, going back to the moon, it's pretty dang exciting to see that kind of stuff happening. And I mean, I am still even just soaking it in and reflecting and really trying to even process what happened. I'm so thankful that our trip just happened to line up. We kind of tried to line up our trip because we drove down there from Nashville, drove all the way down to Brownsville. We kind of happened to just try to plan it around the day, and thankfully it happened while we're down there. And the same thing happened with SN5. I don't know. We've had some pretty good luck with lining those things up. But I just wanted to make this video to document kind of some of my feelings and some of my excitement towards what had happened just a couple days ago, and just put this out there. You know, hopefully I'll look back at the video in a few years and be like, wow, Lucas, you know, you've really grown, or wow, you know, whatever. Just something to document and to kind of put my excitement out there. I don't know, but I really, SpaceX is one of those companies that if I had the opportunity to work for them, I would definitely take up that opportunity. If I had an opportunity to go down to Brownsville and even just work in like the construction aspect of it, I'm not even talking about the you know, all the technical sides with all the, you know, computer, the scientific side. I'm not even talking about that. If I had the opportunity to go down there and work like specifically for SpaceX, like doing stuff, even if it's not like, even if it's just random tasks, heck, I'll be a janitor there. I don't care. I would love to just be able to see, you know, Starship every single day. I mean, I was down at the beach at Boca Chica Beach. We went down there to, you know, go swim around, and it was just mind-boggling that I'm on the beach and I'm looking up, and like 200 yards away, 300 yards away, there is this just massive, just spaceship, the largest spaceship in the world, just behind me. And I'm just sitting here on the beach, just chilling out, you know? Like, when does that happen? Never. It never happens. That's not something anyone does. It just doesn't happen. It's making my mind go crazy. I can't contain my excitement. But anyway, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and end this video here because I could ramble about this for hours and hours and hours. And really, I mean, one last thing though is my friend, the original. Okay, to end this all out. The whole purpose of us going on these trips was a few years ago when we went to the first trip before SN5. My friend and I, we for probably about several months to almost a year had been talking almost weekly, consistently, kind of just like being excited and talking about SpaceX, Starship, the whole program, announcements, things like that. We've been kind of nerding out about it and hyping each other out over it. And then finally we decided, hey, let's go take a road trip down there. So we decided to do that. And way back then, we had been only dreaming of being able to see Starship, and dreaming of being able to be in the presence of Starship, and dreaming of Starship even being a thing. And now, you know, what, 4 or 5 years later, it is a thing. And it's real. And it was before our eyes. And we were there when it launched. And it was a dream come true. And it was just it was something I can't even describe. But it was absolutely a dream come true. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. It was an amazing experience. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.